What if I told you the average gym member pays for something they rarely use? And that's exactly why gyms make money. It sounds backwards. Millions of people believe gyms earn fortunes because they're always packed. Rows of treadmills pounding, weights clanging, lines for machines. The truth is almost the opposite. Behind every treadmill, every dumbbell, every membership card swiped at 6 in the morning is one of the most fascinating business models ever created. A business built not on people showing up, but on people believing they will. This is the hidden economics of owning a gym. Long before barbells and mirrors, humans trained to survive, running from predators, carrying water for miles, hauling stone. Strength wasn't a lifestyle choice, it was the price of staying alive. Then something strange happened. Civilization made survival easier, and the human body, no longer forced to work, started to soften. And somewhere in that softness, an idea was born. What if people would pay money to struggle on purpose? The ancient Greeks built the first gymnasiums, not for muscle, but for philosophy, wrestling, and public life. The word itself comes from gymnos, meaning naked, because that's how they trained. Strength was status. Strength was identity. Fast forward a few thousand years, and that same instinct never left us. We just wrapped it in neon lights, protein shakes, and 30-day free trials. Today, people don't just want to be strong, they want to become someone, a better version of themselves they can see in the mirror. And that emotional hunger, that quiet desperation to change, is the real product every gym is selling. Not machines, not classes, hope. But here's where it gets strange. If hope is the product, why do gyms want you to stop showing up? Picture this. A gym signs up 10,000 members. If even half of them walked in every single day, the building would collapse under its own foot traffic. There wouldn't be enough treadmills, enough lockers, enough parking spots in the entire city block. So the business doesn't just tolerate low attendance, it depends on it. Industry data has shown for years that a huge share of gym memberships go almost unused after the first few weeks. Not because people are lazy, but because of something deeper, something psychologists call the intention-action gap. We buy the version of ourselves we intend to become, not the one we actually are in that moment. Gyms understand this better than most industries on Earth. A facility might only have enough equipment and space for a few hundred people to comfortably train at once, but it can profitably sell thousands of memberships because the math only works if most people don't come. That's not a flaw in the business model, that's the business model. Think about an airline. Airlines overbook flights because they know some passengers won't show. Gyms do something even more extreme. They don't just overbook a single flight, they overbook an entire year, banking on the fact that human motivation fades faster than a New Year's resolution. And it's not sinister, it's simply built on one unshakable truth about human behavior. We are far better at buying transformation than we are at showing up for it. Every auto-renewal, every cancel anytime policy buried behind 3 customer service calls, every 12-month contract exists because the gap between intention and action isn't a bug, it's the entire foundation of profitability. So if the real money isn't in equipment usage, where does it actually come from? To answer that, you have to understand what it costs just to open the doors in the first place. Most people imagine opening a gym is simple. Rent a space, buy some weights, put up a sign. In reality, it's closer to building a small factory designed to manufacture willpower. The lease alone can be brutal. Gyms need thousands of square feet, usually in high-traffic areas where rent prices are already inflated by coffee shops and grocery stores fighting for the same real estate. Then comes construction, reinforced flooring so it doesn't crack under dropped barbells, specialized rubber matting, mirrors covering entire walls, not for vanity, but because mirrors make small rooms feel enormous, and enormous rooms feel worth the membership fee. Lighting has to be engineered, not just installed. Harsh lighting kills motivation. Warm, dynamic lighting makes people feel powerful, and powerful people renew their memberships. Then there's the invisible cost most beginners never see coming. Air conditioning and ventilation systems strong enough to handle a room full of people generating body heat like furnaces, hour after hour, all day long. A failed HVAC system in July can silently kill a gym faster than any competitor down the street. Add commercial-grade equipment, often costing tens of thousands of dollars just for a handful of premium machines. Add insurance, because a single lawsuit from a dropped weight or a torn ligament can wipe out a year of profit. Add staff, software, branding, marketing, security systems, cleaning contracts. By the time the doors open, many gym owners have already spent anywhere from a few $100,000 to well over $1 million before a single membership is sold. And that's before rent is even due for the first month. So how does anyone make this profitable? The answer isn't the gym floor. It's everything happening around it. Membership fees are just the entry ticket. The real profit engine hides in the layers built on top. Personal training is often the biggest one. A single trainer can generate more revenue per hour than an entire section of treadmills combined, because clients aren't just paying for time, they're paying for accountability, for someone who notices if they don't show up. Group classes work on a different psychological trick entirely. Social pressure disguised as community. It's much harder to skip a workout when 11 other people are expecting you in that room. Then there are the smaller, sneakier revenue streams. Supplements sold at the front desk, branded merchandise, protein shakes blended for double what the ingredients cost, recovery services like massage therapy, saunas, and cold plunge pools, which feel like luxury but function like retention insurance, keeping members emotionally attached to a place that makes them feel cared for. Corporate partnerships bring in steady, predictable income, batches of employees enrolled by their companies who rarely check whether they're actually using the facility. Online coaching and mobile apps extend the brand beyond four walls, turning a single physical location into a business that never technically closes. Some of these streams carry profit margins that dwarf the membership fee itself. A protein shake might cost less than $1 to make and sell for $8. A single personal training session might generate more raw profit than 50 unused memberships combined. The modern gym isn't really a fitness business anymore. It's a diversified ecosystem, quietly monetizing everything from sweat to psychology. But for every dollar coming in, there's a quieter, more dangerous force working against it. And it's the reason so many gyms, even ones packed with loyal members, eventually shut their doors. Equipment doesn't last forever. Treadmill belts wear out. Cables snap. Machines require constant maintenance just to stay safe, and safety isn't optional. It's survival. Because one malfunctioning machine can turn into a lawsuit that erases years of profit in a single afternoon. Electricity bills climb every summer as air conditioning fights a losing battle against hundreds of overheated bodies. Cleaning costs never stop, because hygiene isn't a luxury in this industry. It's the entire reason people trust a space enough to touch its equipment bare-handed. Staff turnover quietly bleeds money too. Every trainer who leaves takes relationships and sometimes entire client bases with them. Replacing and retraining talent isn't cheap, and it happens constantly in an industry known for burnout. Then there's the landlord's favorite word, renewal. Leases don't stay the same forever. Rent increases can arrive with almost no warning, forcing owners to either raise prices, cut costs, or quietly start losing money every single month. And perhaps the most brutal cost of all, acquiring new customers. In a hyper-competitive market, gyms often spend enormous amounts on advertising just to convince someone to try a free trial, knowing full well that most of those trial users will never convert into paying, long-term members. This is why so many gyms with hundreds, even thousands of members quietly collapse. Full membership rosters can mask a business that's bleeding out from 1,000 invisible cuts. Success in this industry was never about how many people join. It's about how well a business survives the war beneath the surface. And nowhere is that war more visible than in a single month every single year. Walk into almost any gym on January 2nd, and you'll witness one of the strangest phenomena in modern business. Lines out the door, equipment fully booked, energy so electric it feels like the Super Bowl of self-improvement. It's not a coincidence, it's engineered. Gyms understand something profound about human psychology. Fresh starts create motivation spikes. A new year feels like a blank page, a chance to reinvent yourself, and businesses have learned to harvest that emotional window with brutal precision. Timing marketing campaigns, discounted sign-up fees, and social media pressure to hit right as that motivation peaks. But motivation, as powerful as it feels in January, has an expiration date. By the third week of the month, attendance already begins slipping. By February, the crowds have thinned dramatically, and by March, many of those same treadmills that were fully booked weeks earlier now sit empty for hours at a time. Gym owners don't panic about this. They planned for it. Because remember, the entire business model isn't built on people showing up. It's built on people paying to intend to show up. January isn't just a season of hope. It's the single most profitable window of the entire year, precisely because so many of those enthusiastic new members will quietly stop coming while their card keeps getting charged. Human motivation isn't random. It's cyclical, predictable, almost mathematical. And once you understand that cycle, you start to see it everywhere, not just in gyms, but in every industry that sells transformation instead of simple products. Understanding human psychology is one thing, but not every gym plays this game the same way. Some scale into massive empires, others stay small, personal, fiercely loyal, and the differences between them reveal an entirely different layer of economic strategy. Picture two gyms sitting a few miles apart. One charges $10 a month with hundreds of locations, minimal staff interaction, and a business model built almost entirely on volume. The other charges $200 a month with a handful of locations, personalized coaching, and an atmosphere that feels closer to a private club than a public gym. Both can be wildly profitable, but they're playing entirely different economic games. The low-cost giants win through scale, massive membership numbers, minimal staffing costs, and a business model that profits precisely because most members rarely show up. Every location becomes a cog in a much larger machine, optimized for efficiency rather than experience. The premium boutique studios win through intimacy, fewer members, but far higher price points, deeper emotional loyalty, and profit margins driven by personalized attention rather than raw volume. These businesses don't need thousands of members. They need a few hundred deeply devoted ones. Franchising changes the equation entirely. A franchise owner isn't just running a gym, they're renting a proven system, paying steep upfront fees and ongoing royalties in exchange for brand trust that would otherwise take years and enormous marketing budgets to build from scratch. CrossFit boxes, on the other hand, thrive on something almost tribal. Community so strong that members don't just attend classes, they identify as part of something bigger than a workout. Every one of these models is chasing the same core resource: retention. Because in this industry, the real competition was never about who has the most equipment. It's about who can keep a member paying the longest after their motivation has quietly faded. And now, an entirely new competitor has entered the arena, one that doesn't need a building at all. Somewhere in the last few years, the gym industry quietly began fighting a war it never expected. Competition from empty bedrooms and living rooms, smart mirrors that turn any wall into a personal trainer, wearables tracking heart rate, sleep, and recovery down to the second, AI-driven coaching apps capable of adjusting workouts in real time without a single human employee involved. For decades, gyms sold access to equipment people couldn't afford at home. Now, that advantage is eroding fast. Compact home equipment, streaming workout platforms, and increasingly intelligent fitness apps are chipping away at the very reason physical gyms once felt essential. But something interesting is happening in response. Instead of fighting this shift, the smartest gyms are absorbing it. Hybrid models are emerging, combining in-person community with digital convenience. Biometric tracking integrated directly into gym equipment. Recovery technology like cryotherapy and infrared saunas turning fitness centers into wellness destinations rather than simple workout spaces. Subscription-based digital coaching extending a gym's brand far beyond its physical walls, reaching members even on days they never step through the front door. The gyms likely to dominate the next decade won't be the ones with the most machines. They'll be the ones that figure out how to blend human motivation with digital intelligence, creating an experience impossible to replicate from a bedroom alone. Because at the end of the day, technology can track your heart rate, it can count your reps, it can even correct your form, but it still can't replace the feeling of walking into a room full of people chasing the same impossible version of themselves that you are. The gym was never just a room full of weights, it's a machine built on discipline, hope, habits, and human ambition. A business quietly powered by the space between who we are and who we intend to become. Some people walk into a gym searching for muscle. Others walk in searching for identity, for community, for proof that change is still possible. And without ever realizing it, every single one of them becomes part of one of the most fascinating economic systems in modern business. A system built not on certainty, but on belief. Belief that this year will be different. Belief that this membership will be the one that sticks. Belief powerful enough to be sold, packaged, and profited from, month after month, year after year. And perhaps the strongest thing being built inside every gym was never the body. It was the business.